Well, because we all felt that there would be such a rain interruption that was going to happen at the Vivian Richards ground in Antigua that we felt England were done and dusted. But no, defying the odds, defying nature, defying everything, England have managed to win by 42 runs on the DLS adjusted method. And because of that, now they are in contention for the Super 8 stage. B1 is now a straight shootout between England and Scotland. In the next 2.5 hours, you're going to see Scotland take on Australia. And everybody felt at this point in time that, man, oh man, what's going to happen? And we are even joined by Siddharth Gulati, who's, I think, still not able to digest that England have managed to pull off what was an unexpected victory over nature, if I have to look at it, isn't it?
But I'll definitely tell you that England were really scared of the fact that they might get knocked out. You know why? Because as soon as the game, it was called that it's going to be an 11 over side at the toss, Josh Butler went in with a Chris Jordan and Sam Curran in place of two specialists, one batter and one bowler. That was Will Jacks and Mark Wood. He went in with two all-rounders, and I think the only reason for that was that he wanted to deepen the batting. So they were definitely a little scared about the fact that if they end up losing this game with Namibia also, they might get knocked out. So they were definitely or hanging on a really thin thread, and they knew that it's going to be difficult for them. So that's why they went in with a Chris Jordan and a Sam Curran in this game, and they won the game comfortably. But if we see another upset in about 2.5, 3 hours from now, then again all their happiness will is going to be really short lived.
I mean, look at Scotland. They were like tweeting images and trying to troll England. I mean, what happened was it is beautiful weather at St. Lucia. Here it was absolutely pelting down at the Vivian Richards Stadium in Antigua. And because of this, two things were we were certain of. One, it was going to be a truncated game for sure, but England somehow held their own. And despite that, Harry Brooks' cameo, Liam Livingston then got a magnificent 2 6s towards the end. Sam Curran bowled brilliantly. Geoffrey Archer bowled brilliantly. And because of that, England are still in the race for the Super 8s. But now, before I get to Siddharth Gulati, this is the situation that is there. If the Scotland versus Australia game gets washed out or Scotland win, they will be B1. England will be eliminated at this point in time. Now it is a straight shootout. England have done their bit. If Scotland lose even by a margin of 1 run, they are still out. So that is the current situation that is confronting us. But Sid got out of jail, isn't it, for England with the nature?
They have, all thanks to the ground staff at North Sound Antigua to make sure that the fans witnessed a good 22 over game. Namibia couldn't really get going because the pitch, I wouldn't say it had any demons, but then there was sharp bounce, and then the way David Visa and the left arm pacer, grabbed
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
early
To start
swing, and
off with
even
the yeah.
yes,
There was that
that
little because of the moisture and everything that the ball was stopping as we saw in the first over also. Just a run came when England came out to bat. Josh Butler got out cheaply. Johnny Bairstow gave a few chances. But I should definitely add this that now this English side is definitely looking a little dangerous to me. I would be definitely scared of them if they end up coming and playing the semi-final against India, because now suddenly somebody like a Harry Brook, Johnny Bairstow, Will Jacks was dropped today. But Josh Butler is still due to actually, come out, and he had that 40 odd against Australia. But still, they are looking a good side now. If they get a flattish wicket, then it's going to be a really interesting Super hits coming ahead
Yeah,
for
one of
us.
one of the things that England have really done right in their past two matches is that they have really won both the matches comprehensively. Now, even if you look at here, the margin of the defeat was, I think, by DLS 41 runs, which is still,
Yeah.
I think, a very comfortable victory when you look at the format of the game, which is obviously T20. So I think, yeah, England have pretty much done their bit. They were very unlucky in the Scotland game. Things could have been different had that match not been rained off. And such is the nature of this T20 World Cup is that one loss can probably push you on the brink of elimination, and that's where probably England stand. But the way Australia have gone about their business so far, I feel that they'll be favourites going into the match against Scotland. It's just about maintaining the momentum, and I think Australia will be itching to make sure that they end the group stage unbeaten. But if you look at things from England's perspective, I think they've ticked most of the boxes. Having Johnny Bairstow at three, I think, was one of the best moves. Then you had Harry Brook. So when you go in with a clear mindset that you just have to hit, there is no scope for being the anchor. There's no scope to play the anchor role, or you have to play the waiting game just because the pitch is probably there is some invariable bounce on it. I think that's where I think England really flourished, and that's how England have actually played their cricket for a long time now. Slam bang cricket, if I may put it that way. But yeah, it's good to see that, and the tournament is the England are still alive in the tournament. But then Scotland are very much capable of pulling off those upsets. They've done it in the past. There's no reason why they cannot do it against Australia. But the current form that Australia is in, I expect Australia to get over the line. And with that said, I think Josh Hazelwood's tongue-in-cheek remark that it would be in everyone's best interest that England would not be that England should not be able to qualify, and Australia might just want to help Scotland so that they become the second team to qualify for the Super 8. I think that might not really happen, but going into the Super 8, the one group is obviously, we have talked a lot about, which is India, Afghanistan, Australia, and it's going to be one of either Bangladesh or Netherlands. But now, if you look at the second group, it is going to be West Indies, South Africa, USA, and one of either England or Scotland. So let's assume that, if England go through to Super 8, that is actually going to be the group of death. So any of the two teams who actually miss out, it's going to be very, very harsh because we were basically talking about the fact that one of the biggest lives that I have been a part of sports today, wherein we discussed that how Super it is basically going to be a clean slate for almost all of the teams. But let's just also accept the fact that they literally had to fight their way to get into the Super 8. The conditions in New York weren't easy. The conditions in, even the Florida did not even host the game, and that's where I think it did. It was an advantage for disadvantage for teams like Sri Lanka and Nepal who had one of their games rained off. So, and when you come to the Caribbean leg, things haven't. The pitches haven't really been, I would say, completely competitive. They are low and slow. Sometimes there is invariable bounce.
Coming at your end, there's some audio issue. There's a lot of crackling that's happening.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, whenever you're talking, there's some crackling that's happening. So just check that out. But I just want to carry on from Siddharth's point at this point. So what you can do is you can mute yourself and then see if you can sort it out. Okay. So what we are looking at this point in time is all the groups are done almost, except for Group D. Group D, you'll come to know about it tomorrow, day after tomorrow morning mostly. Scotland versus Australia, that is there at this point in time. So that is why looking at the current situation, see, today you saw some tactical blunders from Namibia. They didn't promote Visa to open. They didn't promote Smuts to open. JJ Smuts and Visa, they are your two very aggressive batters. Yet you didn't open with them. And the rain came at the most inopportune time because of what happened. Visa couldn't bowl his third over. He just bowled two. He was done away with. 11 overs meant 1 over could bowl 3 overs, and Visa had that opportunity, but then he didn't do it. So because of that, today, they realized too late. They had to retire out one particular individual. I think it is the first instance of a retired out in international cricket, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, sports fan is pointing that, yes. First retired out in international cricket, wish they had done it earlier. So that is why I think Namibia blundered a lot more. Big game experience, not been in that. But England's bowling, I think that has some bit of worry if you have to look at it, because they didn't do well against Australia. They didn't do well against Scotland. Even here, they have lost only 3 wickets in Namibia in a chase of 100.
And also they dropped a pure bowler to get in a Chris Jordan also. I think that was also on, I think the conditions, I see. The thing is that England isn't that weak a team that you would have to lengthen your batting so much against an Namibia that you drop an in-form Mark Wood who has been bowling pretty well as compared to the other bowlers in this English side, and get in a Chris Jordan just to lengthen your batting. But also, talking about the point about David Villa, I would want to take this moment to actually congrats, because it was his last game. He had mentioned it earlier
Yes.
also. It's an end of a great career, played for South Africa also. Then came here and played quite. He played the 2022 World Cup and the 2021 World Cup also for Namibia. So he's been a really great servant of the game also. So his last international game, as he told before the game itself, that it's going to be his last game.
Yup, indeed. So, oof, what a day. It's been like 4:46 for a 5-over game, which meant it was, you're now crossed 5 p.m. also, 5:30 p.m. and it's 3:37 a.m. in India at this point in
In
time.
India also, yeah.
It's 2.5 hours away from the from the Australia-Scotland game also. So again, the situation is simple. If the game is washed out, or if Scotland win, then they are through. If Australia win, you're going to see B1 England, B2 Australia, and that group of death is certified. West Indies, South Africa, England, USA. Here it is going to be India, Australia, Afghanistan with D2, either with Netherlands or with Bangladesh. That you will come to know on Monday at this point in time. So England, congratulations. The elements threw everything at them, but they still held on. Josh Butler, the relief that he had, that relief when the toss happened, when the game was finally about to happen. It was such a wonderful moment for them. So now all eyes are on St. Lucia at this point in time, where Australia
Just a
will
few
take.
hours away.
Yep. And Zeolite is like saying the Indian batting lineup is horrific at the moment. How can we expect it to weather in Afghanistan after we saw Rohit was clearly struggling against Varun Chakravarti in flat track Eden? Well, see,
Don't worry, don't worry. You know, when they put on the
he has
blue
5
jersey,
days
they,
plus India's batting
they become
problem.
a different beast. So that's something, that should not be worried about.
Although it is true, whatever's happened in the US leg, every Indian batter has struggled. But then see, Super 8s, it's a new slate, it's a new beginning. Just ensure that you don't slip up. That is the only way possible. So that is why England, congratulations. Let's see, we'll join you in the next couple of hours. What happens with Scotland, Australia? We'll be back for more updates on Sports Today. From me, Shashwat and Siddharth Gulati, it is good
But
night.
let's just, before we sign off, let's just pick a final, let's just make a final prediction for Australia versus Scotland. I'll go first. I'm going with Australia.
Australia, no brainer for me.
I'm going with Australia now.
So, which clearly means that from three of us, it's Australia and England who will probably go through to the Super 8. Australia have already qualified. England could very well be the second team.
Yes. So that's why England and Australia, I think, might go through. And yes, Anurag, 02040, there is no danger of rain at this moment in St. Lucia. Weather is fine. We just hope that the game finishes. We don't want rain delays. I'm fed up of rain delays. And especially in the semi-final, you're going to have a 4-hour grace period. 4 hours. So I hope it doesn't rain in Providence. Otherwise, we are in big trouble at this point in time. So thank you so much, folks, for joining us. Subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis. Bye-bye. Good morning. We'll see you back in a couple of hours.